What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today, I want to talk about the big picture. The big picture. I want to talk about the pieces on the map. I want to talk about the moving pieces and the state of African people as we see ourselves today. Because the thing is, there's many different views. There's many different things that's going on, right? Everybody has their own issues and their own bubbles, but there's things happening on different levels, all right? Like, for instance, and there's always acrimonious altercations happening on every level that if you're just paying attention to that, you would think that that represents what's happening everywhere, but that's not the case, right? Like, for instance, if you look close enough, if you look real close, microscopic, your body is always in the bacteria in your body is always in a constant battle of attrition for survival in your body. There's always living organisms in your body fighting a continuous battle for survival. It's a big, giant, galactic internal war happening, right? You back out a little further, you got yourself. You battle with your thoughts as an individual, right? And your perspective based off what it is that you've been exposed to is what's creating that perspective. And from that perspective, the world is, that's how you intake the world, right? And then you battle with yourself, your self-doubt, your confidence, your ego. That's your own personal battle. Then you back up a little further, you're in your house, right? You battle with your wife, you battle with your husband, you battle with your kids, you battle with your sister, you battle with your brother. Those are internal issues within the family, right? Within your, outside of yourself that you got going on, right? And then outside of that, you got your community, right? You got community issues, things that's happening within your local community that affect you, right? And then you back out of that, you got things that's happening in your state that also affect you. So it's a compounding. Then you back out that, you got what's happening in the country and how is that affecting? What's happening on the national political stage, right? That's what's affecting you. And then if you back out even further, you got what's happening in the world and how is that affecting me, right? And the thing is, a lot of people, and especially a lot of these black YouTubers, when it comes to research, because people always say they're doing research, right? And their research really consists of watching, and there's nothing wrong with this nowadays because, cracking open a book is good, visual learning is good, it's all learning, it's input, it's information in, information out, right? It's just a matter of what is the quality of information that you're receiving, and are you getting information from different perspectives so you can make a sound decision or form a sound opinion based on what's actually happening in the real world, not based off other people's perspectives because they could be influenced, because people are they're easily influenced, right? That's hence the word sheep. Most people walk around, they're sheep, right? And it's not to be disrespectful, it's because most people, right, they walk and they do where we're pattern people. We see a pattern and we go with that pattern. We're very good at pattern recognition, and we whatever everybody else is doing, we do. Like, and if you see somebody running, well, for black people, because we still connect to nature, we see somebody running from here to there and they got a look of distress on their face, you're not going to sit there and try to pontificate what the hell is coming and why is that person running. No, we are naturally going to start running too, and we'll deal with all that other shit later. But the information, all we needed was that guy is running fast that direction, and that's the direction I need to go, and then I'll figure out why he's running later, right? Information in, information out, right? So what I want to talk about is globally, what's really going on in the world, and where are we as African people, as black people in it, and is this a good opportunity for us? This is a bad opportunity. What kind of era is this for us, right? Okay, so right now, what's happening in the world is that African people, this is a result, and I want you to understand that everything that's happening in the world is a result of, well, not everything, right? But a lot of the things, moving parts and wars and all these things that's happening in the world is a result of African people finally standing up and becoming aware of their situation. You see, only a certain group of Africans were fully aware of what was happening to them, right? It takes a while. I can put you in a situation, right? A terrible situation, and you wouldn't even know why you're in that terrible situation. I can hold you in that terrible situation. I can keep you kidnapped in that terrible situation. I can keep your kids, your grandkids in that terrible situation, and none of you will even know why, how, or the first thing, or how y'all ended up in that situation. You understand? And it's because we're humans and we adapt. And as Africans, we always adapt to our surroundings. We adapted to the situation we're in America, right? But we started to gather information and we started to fight. We never stopped fighting. I want people to understand, Africans never laid down. We were enslaved, but we never laid down. We fought the whole time. And those are the stories they don't want to tell you, because they rather gloat about how they were the masters, how they dominate us. They don't want to tell the stories about how we was deleting them and sending them up to the roof. They don't want them to know how many rebellions and how we fought for 300 something years everywhere. We never laid down. Africans don't lay down. We may got tired, because we get tired. You know, you get tired of fighting generation after generation. We get wear down as a community, and we are dealing with a lot of that right now. We get worn down because we still fight. We ain't never stopped fighting. It's just the fight changes. We ain't never stopped fighting, but it ain't that much different. Still involves them trying to kill us because they're afraid of us. But because all of that's happening, right? Because white people, right? Europe, they're like a parasite. They're like a parasitic humans, right? For all intents and purposes. They need other people's resources in order for them to thrive. They have no history, they have no real accomplishments until they stole from us, so that they can create and build their wealth and their accomplishments that they have now. But what's happening is the Africans on the continent, and the countries and the governments that they set up, right? They set up like big Walmarts, big Kmarts, big freaking Shoppers Food Warehouse with 90% discounts that they can go to, right? And get all the things that enrich themselves in the white Western world that they enjoy. Right? But what's happening is the Africans are now becoming aware, because the strategy that the Europeans used, they kept giving us the intellectual knowledge and properties that they use to do the thing they did to us. You see, so what happened is, because Europeans are so lazy and they don't want to do anything for themselves, over time, when they took us to these different places, when they started to exploit us, Africans kept paying attention to what they were doing. We started to wonder, well, why is this like this? Why is this like that? Well, how come I can't do this? Oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. Oh, you don't have that much power, because the power the Europeans have is an illusion that we all fell for. That's the big trick. They really don't have the power. The law of nature says they haven't earned it. They got it artificially through the gun and cannon and their tricks, right? But when it comes to the law of nature, they have never really earned it, right? So now the foundation they created based off thievery, based off evil, based off lack of basic human morality, it's crumbling. And I want you guys to understand, Europeans have never been united. Y'all think they're united in that we should take that unity as an example. No. They never were united. They only have an agreement that they're afraid of us. They're only united in the thought that them Europeans have always been enamored with Africans. Since Europeans have existed, and since they've seen us, they've been enamored with us. They've been jealous of us. They've been envious of us. They've been wondering how is it that we do the things that we do. They've been trying to do the things that we do. They've been trying to emulate and pretend to be us. They've been trying to do it all, and they've also been hating on us, because envy turns into jealousy. Envy turns into jealousy and hate. All right, and that's basically what we got. That's why they act weird. It's like they love us, but they hate us because they can't be us, and it's legitimately like that, right? But look at all of Europe. So the state of the world, all of Europe, World War III basically has already started. All right, and I always find it funny how, first of all, Europe is a peninsula of Asia. All right, it doesn't even qualify in the dictionary as an actual continent. But white people have such a complex about themselves that they have to falsify everything in order to big themselves up. So they make Europe a continent. Europe is not a continent, it's a coast. Europe is a coast. It's literally just a coast and an island. Europe is a very small, very resource empty place, you know, as far compared to the rest of the world. So they're right now all fighting. Look at the Europeans in our country. They don't even have pan-Europeanism with their people. Most Europeans in the north are German. North of America are Germans, Germanics, right? Down south, like the southern Europeans, you know, the super racist podunk ones, those are the ones, they're the ones we used to, the stereotypical white races. They're from England. Those are English. That ghetto-ness that Africans make look cool is actually an English part of English culture. It's just that we make everything look cool, so anything we do always gets highlighted because we look better at it, even if it's bad. That's like a blessing and a curse. Everything we do is cooler than everything everybody else does. So even our criminality looks better than theirs. It just does, right? The only time Europeans ever had some cool criminal-like look was the Italians, who arguably are not actually black. They like really mixed mulattoes for real, who hate us because of shit we did to them way back when, which, you know, you can't be too mad. I mean, we did enslave them first, right? So I give them Italians that thing, right? But, you know, there is the Italians, you know, they had their little mafia and shit. That was kind of cool, you know. I mean, it's not, but, you know, they placated to be cool. You know what I'm saying? But every group of people had a mafia, you understand? Which is just a gang. We got gangs, right? And we also glorify that, right? Just like the Europeans used to glorify the Italian gangs. So I mean, it's just a thing, right? But Europeans are not united. They are at war with each other. They've always been at war with each other. Europe has them European Anglo-Saxon have always been at war with each other. They hate each other. They're the most xenophobic. They can't be racist towards each other because they're the same. So they're xenophobic, they're tribalists, they're way more than us. Way more than us. And they don't mind killing each other. And right now they're killing each other en masse. Understand, Europeans are killing each other at such a level right now. We're talking about World War I and II levels, guys. Ain't shit like that happening in Africa. No matter all the shit, all the wars that's happening in Africa, all war is terrible, right? But out of all the wars that's happening, bro, ain't shit compared to what them Europeans are doing to each other in Europe. And they've been doing it. They've been doing that shit. We see they've been doing that shit, right? Asia is going down because they decided to go like the communist route with their government. So the thing, and then plus their economies is artificially inflated by slave labor of their people. So while everything we made is made in China, right? It's all cheap, right? We think China's doing great, they're doing good because they got a one-party system, and you know everything is, you know, they just knocking shit out. They building cities. They can build a whole goddamn city in like a month. But that's because they're using slave labor. Right, slave labor, and the people don't got rights. They're suffering. The people suffer way more than us. Chinese people are trying to fight for their freedom right now. They're enslaved. Chinese people are slaves to their own people. Their own people enslave them. Chinese people don't need to enslave. They don't need to enslave, you know, another group of people. They enslave themselves, and they're also enslaving the other Uyghurs and the other racially/ethnic groups in China. Because we look at China, you think of a Han Chinese, but China is not really one country. It's really multiple. It's a whole bunch of countries, but one group keeps dominating, they're controlling everything. But there's different people in China that arguably they would be considered Chinese, but they don't look Chinese. All right. And so while Asia and I gotta open the door, it's pretty hot. While Europe is basically incinerating themselves with constant war, death and destruction, and they're using all the new technology of death and war, and all the military industrial complexes are using this opportunity to test out their new death drones, right? So I really feel sorry for them soldiers on the ground that got to deal with, you know, no matter how much training they got, there's nothing that's gonna stop. They can't stop a $40 mortar, a $40 drone dropping a $10 mortar on their head and killing them. It's terrible, right? So while all that's going on, African countries are starting to build. Keep in mind, African countries are only 60, 65 years old, right? The people who are running the country, who don't know the first thing, for the most part, the first thing about fairness, democracy, because all the people that's still running most of these countries are the puppets put in place by the former European powers during colonialization. But the thing is, they're getting old, just like our old ass politicians are getting old. Look at the people we got running. These mofos are 80-something years old. The whole political class, this whole group of people who hold on to power, these very few people, they're old and they're getting decrepit and they're getting, their mental capacity is dissipating. It's just a lot of shit's happening, right? And so while that's happening, the young blood's moving up. They're more educated, they're more capable, they have better tactics, and they are taking over Africa. And black people all over the world are rising while the rest of the world are being knocked down a peg due to their draconian political actions. So y'all see me sweating, right? I've been sweating one time. Y'all see African people are on the rise. And the corridor of West Africa, the place that gets the most hate, and the people that get the most hate on the planet, because we are the epicenter, that west coast of Africa, that from Cameroon all the way up. Well, I don't want to miss anyway. Just to say the whole west coast of Africa, that is the most admired. Those people are the most admired and the most hated and the most capable and arguably some of the most smartest, because all Africans are smart. We all got capable genius. Some of the most smartest people on the planet, and soon to be taken over because of the natural resources. That West African corridor, where we are from, African Americans, our people, they are poised to be the future superpowers of the planet. And everything that's happening right now is leading towards that end. And I'm going to be a part of that. My descendants will be a part of that because of what I do today. And every Pan-African, every pro-black guy out there that's making moves today, right, that's doing what they got to do today to establish themselves in the black world, to take agency, to take power, to build industry, their descendants will be the ones who benefit when they look back at this time, this tumultuous time, and this time is going down in history. We will be the people who they talk about in the history books who took back this planet from the barbarian who gave us 500 years of darkness. Anyway, tell me what you guys think about this in the comment sections. Afro Think Tank, learn some, teach some. I'm out.